Kookoo Kookaburra, written by Gregg Dreise. When you listen to this book, I want you to figure out what the author is trying to teach us. This book definitely has a moral, and I'd like you to figure out what it is. This is called a dedication. Sometimes authors put these in their books to say thank you to people who helped write them. This dedication says, "To my beautiful mother and my wonderful dad. This book is all about kindness, and you are the kindest people I know." Way back before Once Upon a Time, there was the dream time, and during this period there lived a kookaburra called Kookoo. Kookoo was a kind and happy fellow who loved to tell stories. He would sit in his favourite gum tree and wait for one of the animals to do something silly. When they did, Kookoo would laugh and think of a good story to tell about what they had done. Here's Kookoo. Can you see the flowering gum trees? The bush creatures loved to gather for a song or a dance, but they enjoyed listening to Kookoo's stories the most. He had a special way of turning someone's silliness into a funny story, without it being unkind. Here's all the animals. Sometimes Kookoo searched for food to eat, but most of the time he was just on the lookout for his next big story. One day, Kookoo could not find any of the bush creatures doing something silly, so he decided to make fun of their differences instead. Sadly, the kookaburra's teasing made the hearts of his friends sink lower than the belly of Mr. Nuri, the black snake. Before long, there were many sad creatures. Billy, the red-winged parrot, reminded Kookoo that everyone liked him because he could tell a funny story in a kind way. His elder, Uncle Kookaburra, told him that kindness is like a boomerang. If you throw it often, it comes back often. But Kookoo did not listen. He thought his stories were just as funny when he teased his friends. In his quest for laughter, Kookoo hurt the feelings of the bush animals, and they stopped listening to him. The creatures who had once gathered like twinkling stars now looked as if the clouds had dragged their sorrows over the sky. Kookoo's stories were no longer funny, but he still believed that he was the best storyteller in the bush. Can you see a difference in this picture? Last time we saw Kookoo telling his stories, there were animals everywhere. But how many animals are listening to Kookoo's stories now? Uncle Kookaburra decided to teach Kookoo the wise words that had been taught to him when he was young. You have 2 eyes, you have 2 ears, you only have 1 mouth. Look and listen twice as much as you speak. When Kookoo flew off without taking the time to think what he had been taught, Uncle Kookaburra and Billy were sad. How do you feel when your friends don't listen to your advice? Not a nice feeling, is it? Kookoo had become a showoff and had forgotten the difference between laughing with people and laughing at people. His friends hoped that one day his kindness would return like a boomerang. Kookoo flew from tree to tree, trying to gather an audience, but everyone ignored him and he became very lonely. One day, he listened to his own laughter echoing around the bush, and it was not a happy sound. Kookoo stopped laughing, and then he heard the voice of Kookaburra. His uncle's wise words were floating on the breeze, and they were much louder than his own unhappy laughter had been. Can you remember the wise words? Everywhere Kookoo flew, he could now hear the voice of Uncle Gugagwa saying, "Kindness is like a boomerang. If you throw it often, it comes back often." Can you see what the artist has included here? Have a look at the trees. Have a look at the grass. Can you see the little pictures that the illustrator has included? Very sneaky, very cute. At last, Kookoo knew what he had to do. From that day on, his laughter and funny stories once again filled the bush. And because Kookoo was always kind, the other creatures returned his kindness by listening. Kookoo's laughter is still heard today. Kookoo Kookaburra. I hope you enjoyed this book, and I hope you figured out what the moral was. To me, I think the moral of this story is that if you're kind to other people, they're more likely to be kind to you. They're also more likely to listen to you if you're being kind. You can try it out yourself. Go and be kind to a whole bunch of people and see if they're kind back.